Hello everybody, welcome to Idle Game Chat. This is Dimp Digital's weekly video games podcast. You've got myself, Apps, here, running the operations as usual, and we kick things off this week by being joined by Mr. Hall. How you doing, mate?
Very well. How's it going?
Yes, not too bad, thank you.
Good.
Not too bad. You've just woken up literally 15 minutes ago, so I've disturbed you to do this.
Yeah, nightmare. 7:30 in the evening.
Well,
just waking up.
People question your commitment, but I think this shows that you're willing to be disturbed after having a bad night's sleep to get up and do this for them.
Yeah, well, should be appreciative, shouldn't they? No complaints. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're not. They're the most underappreciative cunts I've ever met.
Yeah,
I've not met any of them.
At least one.
Well, actually, we've probably met nearly everyone that listens to this because they're all people we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
You know who you are, you cunts.
Yeah, you do. But this is a big week in the video games world. It felt...
It's here.
Well, it is here. But almost, we had two announcements. It felt almost like a mini E3 of sorts, which is madness to have in, the end of October. But we had Red Dead Redemption 2 reveal trailer, and that'll be discussed later on. But we finally get our first official look at the mysterious Nintendo NX console. So you're here to provide commentary on the new Nintendo console. So let's get straight into it. It is called the Nintendo Switch. So first off the bat, name.
Awful.
I prefer the NX.
Yeah, I like the NX as a console name to the Switch. I get why they've gone for Switch.
It's logical. It's not like the Xbox One where they went, right, we're going backwards. You go, well, how's that happening? What do you mean?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of it gives you a bit of an idea of what the console's about, doesn't it, with regards to switching between different various modes. But it's just not a great name, is it? I mean, it's not one that rolls off the tongue. Sure.
I'm just going to shorten it to the Switch, I think, which works. But the NX was just a great little. It didn't mean anything, but it doesn't need to always. But obviously, marketing people got their hands on it and went, "Oh, best."
Yeah, someone obviously feels it's a good idea. So
might have been Alan again, putting his hands where his fingers weren't needed. Was it Alan who brought up on the other week?
I can't remember. Yeah, it was Alan.
Alan's the
mysterious
boss.
Alan.
Alan's like a sub-boss and he just makes decisions. And I think, again, he's gone for this. Yeah. And Alan at Nintendo's gone, put Switch on that and print everything and then, that's caused problems.
Too late.
Absolutely. Well, let's explain what this is. I mean, basically, if you knew about the leaks or the rumours that were coming up over this past year, it's everything that those leaks were. It doubles as a home console that can connect to your TV, and is also something that you can take with you on the go and use as a portable device. And to me, seeing the reveal trailer, which is about 3.5 minutes long, it essentially has almost three modes. Almost. One is
configurations.
Configuration is a better word. One is that you connect to your telly and play at home. We're all familiar with that.
Yeah.
Then you can undock I don't know what to call it, the gamepad? Have they got a different name?
I suppose you undock the screen, don't you?
Yeah, which you can use away from the main dock anywhere you want. So it looks very familiar to the Wii U's gamepad. It's almost like that. But what you can do in the third configuration is disconnect what they're calling the Joy-Con controllers and use them separately. You could even share one of these with a friend and do a little bit of multiplayer, or attach both the detachable Joy-Cons to a Joy Grip or Joy-Con Grip, which functions like a more traditional controller. That means that the screen is standalone, so you just got a little stand that you can prop that up on. And I guess if you've got a table in front of you, if you're on a journey, you're on the train or a plane, that's where they're looking for you to use that. You pop the screen up and use the controller sort of freestanding.
Yeah,
and it looks like in all these modes that you can use a version of the Pro controller, like it'll probably be the Switch Pro controller, but like a stand like this. The important thing is that it's just a standard controller. There's no bullshit on it. It looks very similar to an Xbox One controller in the way it's mapped out, so people won't have to develop for weird and wonderful creations.
They've not immediately gone in for anything too fancy. It looks like they've kind of reverted back to, we'll give people the option for a standard controller if they want it. And I know they had the Pro controller for like the Wii and the Wii U, but it was, especially the Wii, the nunchuck and Wiimote was kind of the selling point, and that carried over onto the Wii U. So it looks like they've slightly veered away from that to back to a more traditional standpoint.
Yeah, I say they're doing things normally and they're kind of trying to simplify things, but it'll be using cartridges rather than discs, which is worth noting. Although with the 3DS, that's, people are developing for that, but just to note that this is one of the, they're going kind of in that direction, even for the home console stuff. So you'll presumably pop a cartridge in.
Yeah, that's that. I kind of get it for the portable side of things. I suppose it had to be a cartridge for the portable side of things because you can't very well have a disc that's rattling around in there. No. When people are on the go, on the move, walking about. Because could you imagine trying to run your Xbox One or your PS4 and vigorously shaking it while you were trying to play it? I can't imagine that the console would love it that much. So
do you remember the Xbox 3? It might have been the 360. Or it might have been whatever it was. One of the consoles you'd pick up if it was running.
It was the wrong way. Yeah, it was 360.
Yeah, if it was a 360
disc and stuff.
Yeah, if you picked it up and moved it whilst it was running, it would just go and laser a big hole or a big mark into the disc.
Yeah, and that was game over. Yeah. So no, I understand it from a practical standpoint. I don't think it's a huge issue. My concern is that one of the things that I was impressed by with the NX was the huge list of big names that they had, that they said, third-party names, that they said were going to be developing games for it.
Yeah.
And, one of our big complaints about the Wii U and the Wii was, well, I suppose not complaints, but we said it doesn't do that many third-party games, but then it kind of deliberately veered away from them. And it seems that they're getting it back towards that a little bit more with the NX, or with the Switch, rather. And I don't want them to, again, isolate themselves too much by saying to people, we want that game, but we want you to alter it to put it on cartridge.
Yeah.
The mapping from a Xbox One disc to a PlayStation 4 disc, one would imagine is not too huge, but to probably map it onto a cartridge is a completely different ball game. So I hope that doesn't hurt them in the long run. Yeah. But like I say, I can completely understand the practical standpoint of why they've had to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. When it was all said and done, and this 3.5 minute trailer was finished, was there anything that surprised you about it? Because, like I said earlier, we pretty much thought this is what it was going to be. But was there anything that you saw and you thought, oh, didn't expect them to pop that in there?
Not especially. I mean, I was more surprised by how remarkably accurate all the leaks have been, because you see leaks coming out over the net all the time for like big releases or consoles or whatever else, and generally bits and pieces of it are right, but a lot of it's just total bollocks. But they were pretty much been spot on with almost everything. I mean, most of it has been very, very accurate. So I suppose that was more surprising than anything else. The initial release of what we've seen, and like we said, the 3 configurations, and sort of going back to more a slightly standard controller when you're playing at home or when you're on the go with the screen as a standalone screen if you wanted to. I like the way they've done it, because I feel like in the future it will have the opportunity for a bit of change. I mean, I don't know about you, but kind of with the detachable controllers being on either end of whatever they're called, the what do they call the bits that go on the edge of the screen?
Joy-Cons, if you take them off.
I can't help but feel that further on in the future they're going to be releasing different Joy-Cons that are slightly different. So even silly things like I was looking up online at some of the classic controllers of the past, and do you remember when we had the fishing rod reel for Dreamcast?
Yeah.
Little things like that can be tacked on the end. Or I mean, they haven't come out and said whether the screen is a touch screen yet.
No, they didn't show it, did they? Which off.
No, they have, and they've not answered the question about it.
No.
Which, you know, I don't especially care. I don't imagine that it will be.
No.
The reason that the Wii U gamepad had the touchscreen was because you could use that as a second screen when you're playing on the telly as like an inventory management screen.
Yeah.
Was it worth it? Not especially. So I'm not overly worried about that.
No.
What I would like to see, though, is it to have some sort of sensors or some sort of something going on. So that, again, another addition, you could potentially get like the old virtual cop guns or the point and shoot style of the Wii.
Oh, right, yeah.
I'd like to see that as well coming in, because I imagine eventually those two separate controllers, Nintendo will want to get back towards motion control and have some advanced version that's like I say similar again to the nunchuck and Wiimote thing.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, it's one of those things they've not said yes or no to motion. But I like the fact that they just put a standard controller in there quite a bit. Just say, look, you can just play this normally if you want, which I think was a concern with some of the other bits. At a high level, was you impressed with how they ended up revealing this? It's a very odd way to do a hardware reveal. Normally you have, I mean, if we look a month or so back to the PlayStation Pro PlayStation meeting, they had a big press conference. They had people come out on stage, do a presentation, and it didn't go down very well. They've just gone, right, get a trailer out there, 3.5 minutes, we'll cut it together, we control everything that happens, bang it on the internet and see what happens. Is that the right way to do this?
Yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one again, because it was surprising the way they did it, but I can understand it, especially with, there's been so much hype surrounding the NX. There's been such a build-up to it, it's kind of, when I think of the NX, I automatically think of the Zelda game that's coming out on it as well, purely because, we've been waiting on this fucking Zelda for so long. And then they went, well, actually, we're going to make it an NX release date game.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you're pinning a lot of hopes on that and that doing well. And, when they were at E3 and they released 5 hours or whatever it was of pure Zelda, it's like that to me was odd again. And I suppose this way they've cut out, like you say, they've controlled exactly what's happened. They've shown the best bits of the console. Could you imagine if they'd come out and done a press conference and it hadn't worked?
Yeah, like they tried to click the controller back in and it didn't go in. Yeah, because I can imagine that being a fiddly little fucker at times. The way they click it on the trailer, they were like, yeah, look, it's simple. It's like, there's no way that's going in that easy.
Yeah, the last thing they need with, they've already come under fire, like I say, for delaying Zelda and having other problems. And the NX, we haven't heard enough of it as far as people were concerned. I could understand them wanting to take any surprise out of the occasion by making sure everything was pre-recorded. There wasn't going to be any nasty accidents on stage when they were doing a big release trailer or whatever else. So I do kind of get it. And, Nintendo are a bit notorious for doing things their own way and just kind of saying, fuck you, we'll release what we're ready to release and we'll do it when we're ready to release it. So
we even do it on the same day as Red Dead Redemption 2. We don't give a shit.
Yeah, that is just doing. Bizarre, isn't it? I mean, I'm guessing that is just sheer coincidence and bad timing. But, especially as the two, they said 3 p.m. for both, didn't they, initially? UK time, that is. And, I mean, what the fuck's gone on there?
Yeah.
Thankfully, Red Dead got knocked back a little bit, so obviously everyone could have a look at that afterwards. But it was, I suppose, the Nintendo one being so short, it was just bizarre that it was just both same day, same time that they're being released or revealed. Yeah. It's not the best piece of decision making that Nintendo have ever made, because one would have to admit you'd probably think more people are interested in Red Dead than they are in the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Purely because of the cult following that Rockstar have got. So
Nintendov's still got a lot of fans though, despite what's happened. So
they absolutely have. And
like I said, mate, they marched the beat of their own drum. I bet they weren't even phased that Red Dead was coming out as a reveal this week. They was like, we don't give a toss. The Switch has come in. We're going to get people talking, and they have. We're all interested.
Everyone's talking about it. Yeah. The big thing. I mean, the other thing that's more frustrating than surprising. I didn't think they'd come out with many details of it, but we've not had a set release. We've not had pricing. We've not had like when we're going to be able to pre-order from, because a lot of people are saying that they want to get in there and get pre-ordering, but you still can't do that yet. So,
well, you say that. You say that. Game tweeted out, which is like a local, it's not local, it's like a national UK store, saying, "Oh, you can pre-order your Switch now. Put a deposit down. No one knows what the final price is."
Oh, could you imagine? You put a deposit down and then it comes out and they're like
£580. Oh, yeah, God, exactly. No. That'd be horrendous.
That ain't happening. But I hope they get the pricing right. I think we're all in a similar boat in that we've said around 300 I'd be able to cope with. I certainly wouldn't want it to be much more than that.
No.
Realistically, I'm hoping it's going to come for about 250, maybe 300 with the game.
Yeah, that would be the ideal kind of solution, I think.
I think people would pay that for it. I don't think people will pay 350 for it with a game.
Yeah.
I think that'd be that's just aiming the market a bit too high. But seemingly from what's been sort of rumoured online and things, people are thinking that 300 is going to be the initial price point for it, which is, well, it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
Quite a lot. Especially with the, like the Xbox One and the original PS4 being so cheap now.
Yeah, that is going to sting them a little bit. And also another thing that people have been mentioning is how powerful is the Switch going to be? We had no formal details. The answer to the question is we don't know. But it has been revealed they're going to be using a custom Tegra processor, which is developed by Nvidia.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this needs to be at least as powerful as an Xbox One or a PS4, or can they get away with less like they have done in the past? Can they get away with a slightly underpowered console?
I feel like they probably can, purely because of the versatility of it. Yeah. It's intended as a mobile console. Could you imagine if you had an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4 as a handheld console? That is a big ask.
Yeah.
When you look at especially the Xbox One, even the One S, look at the size of that fucking lump.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be very, very surprising for Nintendo to be able to squeeze that down into a unit that, from what I've seen as well of the screen, it looks very, very thin.
Yeah.
It looks like a almost sort of tablet thin.
Yeah.
So, I'd be hugely surprised to see that the final specs are similar to that of either of those consoles. Do I think it will affect it? Probably not hugely, purely because, as I mentioned, it is a different style of console. They're obviously going for a different approach.
Yeah.
And, I really hope that it lives up to the hype, because it has intrigued me. And my 3DS has taken a bit more of a back seat, and I've been experimenting with the Xbox One share play to be able to play it on my laptop at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
I want to be able to play my Xbox One.
Yeah.
On the go, but obviously that's a long way off yet, because the share play even between over the Wi-Fi in my house to another screen is an absolute nightmare. It's almost impossible to play. So I can understand Nintendo aiming at this market. They've got the handheld market pretty much conquered.
Yeah.
And I suppose this is them. They're obviously, I reckon they're going to phase out the 3DS.
Yeah.
Or the DS line, I should say.
So. Yeah.
And that will move into purely mobile gaming for your Android and for your iOS devices. And then the Switch will become their main console, which will be just an upgrade of a semi-upgrade on the Wii U with mobile capability, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't think the power is, for me, I don't think it's an issue. I'm not fussed about that sort of thing, really, as long as it runs fine. What can I expect if I can take it off the docking station and walk down the street with it and it's not going to change? I can't expect it to be
suddenly
4K or what. It's never going to be that. So, but I do wonder whether they've got a big load of third party developers that they've signed up for that are partners in this, as they've put it. I do wonder whether they will hit a ceiling quicker than they want to, and then feel slightly restricted, and that might lead to lack of support in the long term. And that does bring us quite nicely onto the games that will be available for this platform. We saw in the trailer Zelda, we saw in the trailer Mario Kart, we saw in the trailer Splatoon, and we also saw a new 3D Mario, which we have no idea what that is. So they hit all their, I'd say that's some of their bigger IPs. Yeah, they've banked them. Where the Wii U struggled, long term, was the third party support. It started off okay, it started off reasonably well, but today there's virtually none. Nintendo, I feel like they were aware of this, and that's why they published that great big list of developers and publishers who will be supporting the Switch, and it covers pretty much all the main players from EA all the way down to someone like a From Software that does the Dark Souls series, which you wouldn't expect to appear on any Nintendo console. For how long they support it, we don't know, but to kick things off, they will be there. At least they'll be attempting to be there.
Yeah. We
then bring in the fact that they're likely to, the future development of the 3DS could potentially go, as you said, it could go down the mobile channel, but I'd still argue there's games on that could go onto the Switch, like something like a Monster Hunter, which is a massive game to have on a 3DS, would be much better served to go on a Switch. If that all pans out as expected, the lack of games that we saw on the Wii U could be a thing in the past, couldn't it? If they can keep up the support with just their core stuff and the added bonus of chucking in a few of the 3DS titles that were getting too big for a 3DS and won't work on mobile, they can concentrate on this machine, almost to 80-90%.
Yeah, no, I'd like you say I hope that the Switch succeeds where the Wii U failed with regards to that, because initially the Wii U did get the support, and you don't want crappy ports of Xbox One and PlayStation 4 games that are rushed over, and it felt like that was the way that a lot of the Wii U sort of crossover titles happened, that it was more of an afterthought and they kind of just chucked it over onto Nintendo to keep people happy.
Yeah.
I hope with this that they do get some decent development titles coming out for them. It'd be interesting to see how long it does last, and like we mentioned previously, I hope the fact that we're running off cartridges doesn't hinder that too much.
No.
It'll also, with regards to kind of the ceiling, I suppose that Nintendo are going to do their usual of they're asking people to branch outwards and think things they can do with a controller as opposed to what they can do gameplay and graphically within the cartridge. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of they'll be asking them to look at it in a different way and expand out in a different fashion. So whether that will encourage people or not is difficult to say. But from that initial list, that, as you mentioned, there's a lot of big names on there and a lot of names that I wasn't expecting to see. So it's pleasing that people are obviously giving it an opportunity and coming out sort of mid-generation.
Yeah.
Realistically, Microsoft and Sony set when the next gen of consoles. They are the trendsetters with it, and Nintendo just kind of plods along, as you say, beating their own job, doing their own thing.
Yeah.
So maybe it will give a lot of third-party developers who probably have kind of had their fill on the PlayStation and the Xbox and are kind of in a reasonably well set up situation to do it. Maybe their innovation teams will be moving over and looking at the Switch and thinking, right, excitement, what can we do with this?
Yeah, no, exactly. I think if years down the line, I'm not sure that third-party support drying up will be as big a deal for the Switch. Like I say, if they can support it with the 3DS hole, it'll be there. Move some of those teams over, pull their finger out on their traditional console side.
Yeah,
they could be self-sufficient. And I'm hearing people bleating on about, it needs third-party support for me to get it. But I think these days, most people who play games, people that are listening to this podcast, will play a Nintendo system for their exclusive games. Now,
it's a secondary console as opposed to a primary one for a lot of people.
It's not going to fly with the casuals, is it? Like, a casual market won't go for that. But
I'm never going to buy a first-person shooter on the Switch before I buy it on the PlayStation or the Xbox.
I don't understand the rationale for those that have got an Xbox One, that have got a PC and got a PS4, and yet are saying, I'm not buying it unless it's got third-party support, or let that be a deciding factor, because those games are already available on a platform that you own and are likely going to run better and look better. You might get the odd Switch third-party exclusive, but they're going to be a bit hit and miss. If you're only looking to get the Switch as your only console, then I can understand your dilemma, because it's a little bit dicey, because you want there to be a flow of games. But most people that are into the gaming bubble have another platform, and if Call of Duty Magic Warfare comes out next year and they go, it's on the NX as well, and you've got a PS4, PC, or an Xbox One, and a Switch, you're not going to go, I'll get that on the Switch, because you're just going to play the inferior version. You're going to be playing the Switch for the Zeldas, for the Splatoons, for the Mario Karts, and for the 3D Mario. So I'm not even convinced it's that big a deal if they can keep up their stuff. I mean, port over some Wii U classics. We've seen Splatoon. Get the virtual console on there, so maybe I can play Super Mario Galaxy 2 on that, or an old Super Mario World. 3DS games, get them over. Pokemon, for example, that'd be great to have that on there, and then continue plugging away at their in-house stuff, new 3D Mario, and that's it.
Absolutely,
going to be rolling, aren't they?
I mean, the thing is, again, going back to bleating on about this third-party piece, that also plays into it's mid-generation. Yeah. We're saying those that are buying the NX or the Switch as their primary console. If you're at the start, exactly. If you're buying this as your primary console, that means you haven't had an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4 in the last. How long have they been out?
3-4 years. Yeah, I think.
3-4 years. Yeah. I mean, you're obviously not that much of an avid gamer, and once again. No, you're not. I mean, the thing is, people have committed. Yeah, okay, you could be a hardcore Nintendo fan, and then the third-party releases do not affect you. Yeah. Or you're not a super hardcore gamer, in which case third-party releases probably don't affect you. You're there to play the fun games like the Marios, the Mario Parties, the Mario Karts, the Zeldas, like you say. So I don't foresee it being a huge issue personally. No. It's always nice to see it because it shows that companies have got the willingness to invest in a new console and to support the new console. But is it a deal breaker? Absolutely not. And those that are saying that it is, I think it's a bit of a cop out, like you said.
They're not gonna the games that appear on there. They're not gonna go out and buy FIFA or Call of Duty on the Switch. It's going to be bought on another platform. It's nice to have things like on the Wii U had Zombie U, which was like an exclusive game that kind of used the tech, but. Again, if they get their in-house stuff in order, if now they haven't got to develop for 3DS and Wii U, they could just focus on the Switch and then port some of those to, or cut us a bit of the team off and do some mobile stuff. Fine, but I think they're going to be a lot more populated than they had previously. I don't, for me, it's not an issue, which I wouldn't, and I've argued against it before, saying, it's got no third-party support, but I'm never going to choose to play, fucking Red Dead Redemption 2 on the Switch. It's just not going to happen at the end of the day. I'm not going to get Skyrim on the Switch when I could get the special edition on any other platform that I own. So it's not an issue personally for me. Here are some of the unanswered concerns I have. First one, battery life.
This is what I was just about to say to you. It's my main concern.
It's got to have a good lifespan. It has to.
It must be unbelievable, the battery life on this thing, because the screen itself is going to absolutely... look at smartphones, for example.
Mine's dead already. It's fucked, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely horrific. They don't recharge properly. They have an absolute stinker holding their charge.
Yeah.
You've got the screen, and then you've got the two detachable remotes, which will have to have some form of battery within them if you're going to detach them from the screen, because they work wirelessly.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Pro controller piece that, the separate controllers stick into the side of. That is a lot of portable device. That is an awful lot of portable device. And don't get me wrong, I must admit, the 3DS has an excellent battery life. Really, really good.
Not doing as much as this, is it?
It's not anywhere near the scale that this is.
No.
Realistically, using it separately, out and about, it needs to last for at least 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Oh yeah, I think so.
At least
minimum. How long? Do you know how long the Wii U gamepad would last when you used to use that as a second screen? I don't know if you ever experimented with it enough.
I'd say probably around that mark, maybe a couple of hours, 2.5 hours, if you used it separately. But yeah, it needs to last that long. Yeah. If they're selling it as a mobile console that you can use on the go, at airports, on the plane, on the train, which is what they are, that's what they're marketing as.
Yeah.
It needs to last for minimum 2 hours.
Yeah, I'll say even that is a little bit low, depending on what it is. But yeah, that's a concern. Another concern of mine is storage space, because fine, say that they don't want to develop games always on a cartridge, they want to go digital. Mm-hmm. Okay, Nintendo Wii U didn't have the greatest storage space on it, which I think hampered it. I mean, you look at 500 gigabytes for the Xbox One, PS4. That's not enough really these days.
Yeah, doesn't take any time at all.
So will that be an issue for the Switch if are the cartridges going to hold enough of the game, to push it through, and that some of it's not got to be installed somewhere on the system? Because all the games these days are all being installed. I'm just hoping that they kind of stick to what they've kind of got with the Wii U, where it doesn't install a great deal on the hard drive, but I'm just not convinced that's going to be possible.
I think this won't be as much of an issue as you might initially interpret.
Good, don't want it to be.
Discs on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One have to install a large proportion because the games are so demanding now. They want them to run smoothly. People hate loading screens. People hate having transitional bits. You look at No Man's Sky, and one of the biggest selling points of that was that the whole game was free flowing. There was no loading between landing on.
Wow, they covered them loading screens up.
Exactly.
When you walk.
They've done the same thing essentially, but you don't have that problem with cartridges. Cartridges don't need to install. They are a hard and quick load up. You don't generally have loading screens on a cartridge, or very minimal loading screens on a cartridge, purely because it's easier to pull information. You don't have to spin a disc and have a laser reader and all the rest of it. The cartridges themselves are obviously going to have to contain the game in the first place. I think that cartridges are superior to discs personally. I think they always have been, but they're more expensive. The reason that people switched over to CDs and now into the Blu-ray that's used for One and PlayStation 4 is because they are cheaper. So whether the price of the games will punish the cartridges, I don't know. But I don't think that having storage space is going to be so much of an issue. And knowing Nintendo, they will probably have a port or something for people to put an SD card in.
If
they need additional memory for it.
Well, these are the sort of things that they need to be doing, really, if they're going to expand the memory. That would be great if they could do that. But we're going to really quickly chat about the price quickly, because I was going back and forth with Mr. Salmon yesterday, and he was saying that this shouldn't be compared to the Xbox One or PS4, really, which I do agree with. If you look at what it's actually trying to do, then I totally agree with that. But I still think if you price your product at a similar, level, then the comparisons will undoubtedly be made. Because if this comes in at $350, people are just going. The easy way out of it is go, well, the PS4 Pro's $350. Why don't I just get that?
Yeah,
and that's going to sting them. But
that's fair, and especially as, they can't really win here. Purely because of the huge price reduction that the Xbox One S and the PlayStation 4
couldn't have come at a worse time.
Have had, Don't get me wrong, we're a long way off in March 2017 when it comes out. So that's not initially. Maybe that's why they've held off on the price. It's for the hype surrounding the discounts that we've had with the PS4 Pro's release coming out. But we've like we've mentioned earlier on, it's going to be very difficult for them to price it above 300 and still maintain the amount of interest they've got at the minute.
Yeah, £350 is a hard sell. 300 is difficult.
It's doable though.
Yeah, 250 they'll pick up a lot of sales.
People
for me,
snap that up.
Yeah, for me, I'm happy with 300 and Zelda.
Yeah, 300 with a game. I think people will be reasonably happy with that. As I mentioned, I hope that the fact that it's cartridges doesn't hurt them and games don't come out like N64.
80 quid!
Well, N64 games, when they released, a lot of them were $59.99.
Yeah.
That's too much. You can't be doing that. People haven't got 60 quid to spend on a game. People spend 25 to 40 on a game.
Yeah.
So, be interesting. Interesting again, though.
Yeah, that's it. Overall thoughts then. The Nintendo Switch coming March 2017. Give us the headlines, give us the final thoughts, whether you're excited, whether it's going to be a day one purchase, whether it's going to be a wait and see. Give us it all. Spill it out.
Pleased with what I've seen.
Yep.
Thought the release style was good. I like the 3-minute trailer. Mm-hmm. Now I want to know more.
Yeah.
I think they'll do a big sort of spec release and press release and everything at Christmas time. To drum up some hype, ready for the March release.
Yeah.
Provisionally, I reckon it will come in at 300, and then maybe 330 with a game or something, or 340 with a game, and expect to see more with regards to the controllers and the screen and the different capabilities. Because with them denying bits and pieces or not commenting on bits and pieces, it makes you wonder how much they're still developing into what they've got hardware wise, because you know what Nintendo are like, they do like to change things last minute, so we'll have to wait and see. But otherwise I'm looking forward to it. I'm pretty hyped. It looks like it could provisionally be another day one Nintendo console.
Not one where you're going to go and get some bread like 6 months later and go, I'll get a Switch whilst I'm here.
No, it might be another Wii U queuing up in London job.
Right.
Sorry, Nintendo Wii queuing up in London job. Didn't do it for the Wii U. Fuck that. No. But yeah.
Excellent.
Stood outside some game shop, cold and miserable, among loads of people cosplaying as Link.
You loved it though, didn't you?
It was good. It was a good atmosphere. It was fun to do, but
depends what. March, the weather might be a bit tricky. Hopefully, spring will spring early and it won't be as cold. But if it's freezing cold, that ain't happening. That's for sure.
And it's not something I'd do on my own again.
Right.
that was a big selling point.
That's a mistake. I like what I've seen. I tried to do kind of on the go game with the 3DS, which I borrowed some of your games for, but I just didn't get on with it. I guess the biggest compliment I can pay to the Switch is seeing this in action has kind of piqued my interest again.
Yeah,
I'm interested in maybe exploring that avenue again and going forward, because I commute a lot, so it would make complete sense for me to do this. The fact that it isn't an exclusive home console or a handheld, I think plays definitely into its favour, because it gives you options. I think having options these days is what you want. Other than the device itself, doesn't appear to be any gimmicks as such that are going to hamstring the developers. So no. I'm hoping that won't sting them too much. Doesn't seem there's anything silly like it's going to be in the way. They have to develop around. They're keeping the core fundamentals simple, which I think is important, because they haven't done that in the last two generations. Fair enough, it worked for the Wii. You know, people say it wasn't the best console, but it sold bucket load. But the Wii U, they can't argue it was anything other than a financial pit disaster. And I'm excited. To see this, and it's exactly what I needed to stop me from going out and getting one of those PS4 Pros out of the gate, because that was lingering in my mind. I saw a few deals this week.
Teasing, yeah.
Yeah, tease me. And I saw the Switch, and then I just saw the Nintendo games, and I thought, look, I've got to have a look at it.
Let it ride, yeah.
Yeah, because
maybe hold off for a short period at least.
Oh yeah, at least find out the price points of this, and also wait and see what they do with the Pro, and see if developers are actually going to do anything with it. But if it comes up and running with a virtual console to get Wii games, and that way backwards compatibility, I don't mind buying them digitally and doing that. That's a hit. If they hit all their big IPs, that's another hit. If they bring over some games usually reserved for the 3DS, Monster Hunter, Pokemon, then that might be enough for me, providing the price isn't completely pants down. Then March 2017 could very well be the first Nintendo console that I buy for myself. Never had one for myself.
Outrageous.
Yeah, always skimped and borrowed off others, but this could be the first time, which I'm excited about. So yeah, there we go. That is the Nintendo Switch. That is our thoughts, comments on it. Mr. Hall, thanks for joining us on this segment of the podcast. I will let you go for the evening.
No worries. Thanks for having us.
Logan and Tom Adkins, not Adcock, both joined me on the Idle Game Chat. I knew when it said Dimp Digital Podcast then. Cool. Mixing the branding up. Almost went old school on it, but no, this is Idle Game Chat still. Dimp Digital Podcast is unfortunately gone. I don't even know if it's in the archives anymore, because I took down the feed, because I had to pay for that. So I think I think it still says it's there, but you can't get it. But
chucked. Just leave it.
YouTube has them all. YouTube has them all. Anyway, you two are here to talk about a couple of things. Just been off, obviously, speaking with Hall about the old Nintendo Switch, so that's dealt with. But there was another huge reveal this week. Red Dead Redemption 2 coming autumn 2017. Before we start, we're going to discuss about what we saw, and then obviously what we hope, and things that we would like to see in this game. Now that it's definitely official. Yep. Off the bat though, the actual reveal itself was about 1 minute and 5 seconds. I've been waiting months for this. There's been teasers, there's been little mini leaks, there's been all sorts. Then they changed the logo earlier in the week, and it was like, oh, it's coming finally. and they give us about 68 seconds, and it's mainly environmental shots. My statement on that is, what a load of fucking cobblers that is. Do you not think that was just a bit of a letdown? Adkins, I'm going to start with you because I know that you're hyped for this. I know Logan will just be like, crap, which is fine, and I will get that opinion. But someone that you were like hype levels 9 when it was, and they started changing the background to red, and you're like, oh, what are we going to see? What are we going to see? 7 main characters. What's going to happen? And then you get that.
What I did was go back and watch the announcement trailer for GTA 5, and that was only about 10 seconds longer.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, fair enough. It did show more than what Red Dead has shown, but I quite like the mystery because it is fucking still a year away.
Yeah.
So it was a nice little teaser, but yeah, it was very short, and yeah, I get what you mean. It weren't enough shown. I thought we were going to find out who the fuck we're going to be playing as.
Yeah, still hanging that carrot over Red's going, it could be 7 people, which can't work. Yeah. They'll find a way to work it.
Yeah.
Logan, your thoughts on what you saw, the 60 seconds of life lost?
Nice picturesque views.
Yeah.
That's about it, really.
Picture Simulator 2017.
Did you know it's been confirmed that was running on PS4?
I don't believe it.
Do you not?
I do. This is one thing, and we might as well get into it now.
Right.
People are saying, oh, look how nice it looks. Look at it. Looks beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But I just don't believe it. The amount of times we've been stung, lied to, fibbed to, misled. I just can't see how that was a true reflection of how the game will work when you actually control the character.
I think there has been today your favourite Poison, Digital Foundry, have done a video on it.
I don't mind Digital Foundry too much, but I don't like the Warriors that then go, oh, look at this shit. It's only running at 58 frames. You're like, fuck off, mate. Jesus. It ain't native 4K. Well, it looks fucking good, I'll tell you that much. So what are they saying? Sorry, what have Digital Foundry come out on?
So no, they confirmed that it was being run on a PS4 and said about that.
Confirming that?
Don't know. Yeah, from a video. They said it's a native 1080p with all this shitloads of stuff.
See, we're already getting snarled up in this bollocks. Why are we getting snarled up in that?
Because there's nothing else to talk about. The reveal wasn't giving us anything, and all I'm disputing is the game will not look that good when the gameplay's rolling. You can fine that runs on a PS4, that's fine, but nothing's really happening when you have to input and start shooting and doing with it. It's not gonna. I can't see how. If it does, I'll be amazed. I'll be blown away. It'll be the best, looking game we've had for a long, long time. But I just don't believe it.
Interesting. This could be like one of the first properly made games for PS4 Pro. Utilising that extra gig of RAM.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is, rather than people upgrading their games. So, but they obviously didn't mention anything of that. But
what are you trying to say, Adkins? Are you trying to put the seeds of poison out there of people going, oh, my PlayStation 4 won't be relevant next year because Red Dead's going to be built from the ground up for it. It's going to look like... Is that what you're trying to say to people?
I'm trying to say, cash in now. Get them 4Ks.
It's not at that or not running 4K if it looks that good. Logan, I mean, it was. I don't think you were too hyped to start with anyway. I think you put 6 when I was asking.
Cool.
6 is a low hype level. I was like on an 8 before the reveal happened. Why is that? Because I have, for some reason, and I may have made this up, this is why the human brain can't be trusted in the court of law, because people make things up in their heads and believe it and forget things. For some reason, I think you were a really big fan of Red Dead Redemption, but I might have just fabricated that.
No, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Great game.
I can be trusted in the court of law. That confirms my memory is there. So was it simply because we knew it was going to be, typically over a year away or under, 12 months away, give or take, a few weeks here and there? Was that why your hype level was at 6? You didn't want to get led up a garden path for a whole year going panting like a dog?
There's not a lot, if anything, that gets me
sat down excited for a reveal.
Gets his motor running.
Like, I just don't ever do it. I just don't. It just doesn't interest me that much. I'm not interested in what I can be doing in
Modern Warfare remaster. Get that?
Yeah, I'd look at them, but even for some of that, I wasn't even looking at that. Like, I'm just. It's just. Why do I? What? Like, yes.
You're talking yourself out of a job here, because the whole point of coming on this podcast is to try and look at these things. And now you're saying you ain't bothered.
I need to justify myself.
Yeah, go on.
First.
I will butt in though.
Basically, the way I see it is, so like yesterday, my phone was going mental. Literally mental, to the point where I went, right, this is going out the window in a minute. I'm getting annoyed with Destiny. I've got this going on. Like, why is everyone wanking themselves off over it?
Oh, is that what your comment about as the world stopped?
Well, why ain't you got fucking jobs to be doing as well? I'm on holiday. My phone's going mental all day about it, over something that boils down to a 3-minute release and a 3-minute video or something. I'm like, what is going on here?
Well,
no wonder the fucking economy's falling to shit. No one's doing anything. Ridiculous.
Are people not allowed to get excited then?
No. So basically, there's nothing that I get that excited about where I can get hyped to it a year or a year and a half before. If it's a console, don't really care. If it's I'll get something to look forward to, but I ain't going to set a fucking alarm for it. I'll find it in the news in a couple of days. There's still shit going. It's a year away. It don't matter if I catch it now or in a fucking couple of days. I ain't stopping my life for it.
Well, you had nothing to do anyway, mate. You was on holiday, like you said. You were sitting at home, probably doing nothing. This is perfect.
But anyway, so yeah, loved it. It's still a way away. The thing is, I think why I don't get hyped or excited is because I know I'm not going to see anything. They might as well just release a PowerPoint slide with one slide saying Red Dead Redemption 2 coming 2017, because that is about what you get
with a screenshot.
Yeah, that's about it. Like, but look, the cinematics look nice, but that ain't gameplay in my books, so it's all pointless, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, I would agree with that to a certain extent. Adkins on the other side of the fence obviously can't contain himself after seeing this. You were going mental. So we didn't see a great deal. We can't really talk too much about the trailer. It was a lot of environmental shots. We saw the 7 kind of musketeers, I don't know what you would call them, cowboys and cowgirls.
7.
Well, yeah, we saw them ride on the camera. They're on. Yeah. I looked at. I just went on the website today and I was just fiddling around. I went to go and pre-order it to see if it gave me a price. It didn't. I'm not going to now, obviously, but the picture they were showing again showed 7 people on the front, like silhouettes of them. All signs are pointing towards it either having multiple characters again and perhaps controlling all 7, or having some sort of gang going on. Is all I can think of. Is that what you're after? Is that going to tickle your nickel?
Yeah, why I quite like that they're not revealing everything is because you get all these videos online of people speculating. Gets them juices flowing.
Yeah. Angry Joe and his bollocks. Sick of it. Typed in saying the other day I was looking for, and I got him up, and I was like, will you just fuck off? You're an idiot.
Got 2 million subscribers.
I don't know who wants to watch that. I just don't know who's gone, yep, that is what I need. Oh, that's it. I wanted to show Jodie the kitchen video.
Yeah.
I just wanted an unedited one just to go, look at this. And the first one I clicked on accidentally was him. Literally 30 seconds in, I said, sorry, I'm having to cut this.
Yeah. It's because he's popular. That's how YouTube works. If you get a lot of views, they go to the top, regardless of how good they are.
Got a feeling he did give Red Dead a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Regardless, we digress. But like I say, I like these short videos because you get so much speculation that it does get you thinking. But yeah, I would be up for it. One of the speculations I have heard is that they're saying that it's going to be like GTA 5 where you can character switch.
Yeah.
With all 7, but I thought, fucking hell, it's going to be hard sort of, building a relationship with these people for 7 of the buggers. But one thing they did say is that they're the baddies and you play as the baddies. I thought that'd be quite a cool little concept.
Good. What have I been bleating on about in those groups? It's been winding Logan up, probably reading through the waffle. Give me at least one character I can go on a murderous rampage.
Yeah,
with. Like I said, I've got John Marsden. He was a nice guy in Red Dead.
Lovely.
He was trying to just, he's about his family and whatnot. I didn't feel right when I lassoed the woman, tied her up, and put her on the train tracks and watched the train run over her. That didn't sit right with me. I didn't feel like John Marsden would do that. So now, if they give me just one character to do that with, then I'm almost sold on the game because I have confidence that Rockstar will deliver, everything else around that.
Give him a Trevor.
Give me, maybe not Trevor. Trevor was good. I liked having him, but
Trevor Marsden.
If they try and do another Trevor, people just go, "Oh, there's the cowboy. It's like Trevor." They need to do a little bit more of it and try and make it a little bit different. But
I quite like the idea of that.
Yeah, I think so. They mentioned Red Dead Online is going to be, a new experience and whatnot. But Logan, is there anything on your wish list here? If you're a big fan of the first one, there must have been things that you think, oh, this is good. What else could we add to something that's built from the ground up on new hardware?
I think you're right in that. What I wanted was something to just go on a rampage with. I felt constrained by John Marsden all the time.
Yeah.
It was bothering me. As you said, you couldn't go off and just fucking shoot a village down. Didn't feel right. Couldn't shoot them horses. Couldn't.
No. Well, I don't want to shoot the horses anyway, regardless of how I feel bad.
See how many bullets they take.
On GTA 5, on PS4, they added animals, and I ran over a dog by accident once, and I was heartbroken. Switched it off.
Yeah, dogs and cats. Yeah, they don't.
Well, maybe I don't know. There's cats around this place where I live now, and they're annoying, so maybe they will go on the hit list. But
them buffaloes in that trailer look like they could take a good shooting.
Yeah, they probably. So what I also did, and I feel terrible to this day, and I never saved any of this progress because I thought this can't be saved on John Marsden's save of mine. I got the horse. I got the horse. You could lasso it and pull it towards you. I led it over the train tracks, and the train come along and killed it. And I don't know why I did it. I felt disgusted with myself, but I had
curiosity.
Just with the game, let me do it. What will happen? And it was upsetting scenes.
Did either of you ever play the Undead Nightmares version?
Yeah, excellent. I love that.
I never played that. I would like to go back.
Well, it's on Xbox One backwards compatibility, so you can pick that up and play it. And that's one thing we should mention. There was rumours circulating that we're going to get a remaster to kind of plug the gap, and didn't get any of that. And I must admit, I was a little bit disappointed with that. Logan, would you have any interest in going through the first one again?
Maybe. I don't know what.
Right.
There's too much going on all the time isn't there at the minute. I think there was a time for remasters, and I think there still is, but I think it's got to be something special. I think when we first got the console, remaster was the way to go with things to get people playing on them. But I think now there's too much new shit going on. You got VR sniffing around. You got too much to be dealing with these remasters, and I think it's good to be. I'd rather play something fresh. Really, the only one game I've been crying out for a remaster was Modern Warfare, and that's there now. I've just got to wait for that to be a standalone buy, and that's in the bag. But yeah, I'm not crying out to play it again. It would be nice maybe to go back. I mean, I've got the 360 set up, maybe to play it through once before I pick it up. But no, I don't think it needed it, and I think Rockstar again have got that right.
Yeah, I just thought it was going to be an easy money maker to pump it out, but it can't be. It probably is a great deal of work. It's a massive game, so it's silly to say that. But that is Red Dead Redemption 2. Then we're going to have to wait a while for that.
Another thing.
Go on.
No PC.
Oh yeah, that is no PC. It did specifically mention PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and didn't mention the PC. So Red Dead Redemption never came natively to the PC platform.
There has been a petition started, which also did get the GTA 5 PC port on its legs, but whether that will come to fruition, I reckon they'll do another one where they're a year after. I think it's just too much hassle with this PC malarkey.
The thing is, like I've said this before, they don't mess up their PC ports. They make sure they're done properly and optimised and take advantage of the hardware. You see stuff come out like we've had the Mafia 3 last week. And
Arkham Knight, if that was console exclusive, that would have been a great game.
Yeah, exactly. That cost it, and that's not the way to do it. Don't just bung it out, because of all the people, the PC crowd are going to get on your back if it's not running properly. So they always do the right thing. You've got to have confidence in them. I do wonder whether GTA 5 PC version was kind of an acid test. They kind of did it, and they looked at the sales and went, right, was that worth it?
Yeah, true.
But we'll see. Yeah, you're right. No PC announced yet. Maybe it'll get announced later down the line, but more likely a delayed release, or maybe it'll never come like the first one.
Yeah, that's what another thing they thought that this teasing was going to be a PC remaster. But no.
Didn't get it. Let's move on to the final piece. And I want to do this quickly because we spent a whole hour talking about PlayStation VR last week, but I always like to collect opinions and thoughts of other people when they've experienced something new. I'm going to start with Logan.
Yeah.
PlayStation VR, we all went around Biff's, you had a little go on it. They call you Iron Gut Logan now because you didn't get any motion sickness, but they also call you Scaredy Cat Logan because you wouldn't sit through the kitchen, which is 3 minutes long.
We know this. Well, that ain't anything new. So
just putting it out so people know that you puffed it.
There was some scrabbling going on.
There was. What did you think of this? Was you impressed? Was you happy with it on your head? Was it comfortable? All the usual bollocks.
Yeah, it felt all right. Actually, once I got my head around where it's supposed to be, it doesn't sit on as nice as I'd like it to. If I'm being really a real bitch about it, it just. You don't get it on and go, right, that is exactly where it's supposed to be. There's a lot of fiddling, but I suppose it's got to be like that to cater for everyone's heads. But
well, we got Biff, like I said, funny shaped fucker. I've got to cater for that head. Then
yeah, it feels fine. It doesn't feel really heavy. It feels quite light on your head. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it felt quite good. The screen was good enough, other than the fact that it kept like misting up with shit, and I had to get Biff to polish it. Yeah. That's annoying, but yeah, it looks good. I enjoyed it. I just want to see some good stuff on it.
Yeah. Adkins, you've played the Vive, and you was like, that's the best VR experience I've ever had in my life. You was blown away by it.
Yeah.
How did this compare, perhaps, to that and anything else you've tried? Was it still a good experience, I guess, is the question.
It was, yeah. The reason that Vive was so good because it tracked everything. And I think having played the Oculus just on its own and having my own Gear VR headset, having the hands, that really added to the experience, I thought, on the PSVR. Especially with that Batman game and that, what's the getaway thing? Heist. Having your hands and seeing that adds more to the experience. So, yeah, I'd say it's not as good as a Vive, but it's a bloody good job.
Yeah, I think it's a good bit of kit, and you know, might not be affordable for people, but it's still the cheapest of the lot, and it still does a good job. Like, it's not bad. It still gives you the experience you want. It kind of gives you that an idea of what it is, and it's a strong enough feeling for it to actually make a difference. And I'll be interested to see what they do with that for sure. But I think that's it, gents. Flash in the pan jobby for you two. Probably thought that was a waste of our time. But needs must. Sometimes you've got to fill the gap. That can't be helped at all. But thanks for joining me. Those of you at home, if you want to find out what we're doing not over yet. One thing I keep forgetting is next week's releases. And why is no one reminding me that? Logan, you knew that I was going to say that, and you just sat there and was going to allow it. I need someone to remind me. Tuesday the 25th of October, Dark Souls 3 Ashes of Arendelle, Xbox One, PS4, PCs. That's the DLC there. What the hell's this one? Yomawari Night Alone, PC. Farming Simulator 17.
Yes.
Xbox One, PS4, PC.
Absolute garbage.
Tethered PSVR. Batman, a Telltale series, episode 3, cranking them out at a decent rate. Friday the 28th of October, Titanfall 2. It was going to be a banker for everyone, and now it's just fallen by the wayside. As is Battlefield 1 at the moment, to be fair. Battlefield 1's not been picked up by anyone. Huh? It's the FPS wars I was expecting to happen have just crumbled. No one's interested from our crew. Xbox One, PS4, PC for that. World of Final Fantasy, PS4, PlayStation Vita. Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Xbox One, PS4. Hang on, they're doing that Yomawari Night Alone. comes out on PlayStation VR on the Friday, so they're staggering that release. Letter, PS4, PSVR, PlayStation Vita, sorry. Carnival Games. That's going to be awful. PlayStation VR. So this is the trouble with it.
In this shit.
It will be just tat to start with. There'll be a lot of tat, and me and Biff said last week, do your research on it. Just Dance 2017, Wii, 360, PS3, Wii U, Xbox One, PS4, PC, hitting every possible platform.
Really opening it to the masses.
Yeah. The Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim Special Edition, Xbox One, PS4, PC, Minecraft Story Mode, The Complete Adventure, Xbox 360, PS3, Xbox One, PS4, and PC. And that's all the game releases that they've listed on the Metro Game Central. So again, don't moan at me, moan at them if it's missing or wrong. If you want to find out what we're up to in the week when we're not recording the podcast, head over to dimpdigital.com for all the audio, written, and video content. And that is it for now, though. Game over. It's goodbye from Logan.
Ta-da.
It's goodbye from Adkins.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for your time. Oh, it's goodbye from the apps. Thanks for your time. And ta-da.